I am saying yes. Next up on the rundown today, we got to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. We got to talk about Jamar Chase and the Cincinnati Bengals. As you guys know, last offseason, the GM/ownership, I'm not for sure who it was, but somebody dangled that carrot in front of Jamar Chase. They're saying, hey, we want to give you a contract. Jamar Chase did not approach them. Jamar Chase did not threaten to sit out. Jamar Chase did a whole lot of nothing but want to go out there and play football and play out his contract. But front office like, hey, we want to pay you. We want to do this. And Jamar Chase was very, very honest and very, very open about what he wanted. He said he wanted 1 penny more than JJ. He wanted 1 penny more than Justin Jefferson, which at the time, or right now, is the highest paid receiver in the NFL. Now, at the Pro Bowl, Jamar Chase was asked about his contract situation in Cincinnati. Jamar Chase said, and I quote, he is looking for what is fair in a new contract. So, guys, we got to ask the question, is Jamar Chase's time in Cincinnati done? Is Jamar Chase's time in Cincinnati done? Is he going to find a new team that's going to overpay for him? When you guys look at Jamar Chase, he finished the season with 1,700 yards and 17 touchdowns. He is clearly a top 3, if not a top 2 receiver in the NFL. The best receiver in the NFL, Justin Jefferson, had 1,500 yards last season with 13 touchdowns. He's making $110 million over the next 4 years. CeeDee Lamb, arguably a top 3 receiver, top 5 receiver in the NFL as well. Last season, he had just south of 1,200 yards. He finished with 1,194 yards with 6 touchdowns. He's making $100 million over the next 4 years. And then when you start going down the list, A.J. Brown's making $84 million. DJ Moore's making $81 million. Amon-Ra St. Brown's making $77 million with the Detroit Lions. He should be paid north of $110 million over the next 4 seasons. He should be the highest paid receiver in the NFL. And he will be the highest paid receiver in the NFL. Now, guys, Jamar Chase does have a club option for 2020-25, which the Cincinnati Bengals will exercise. Right? He'll get paid $22 million next season. But after that, he's a free agent. After that, he's out to go there, explore with any other team. After that, basically, guys, is right now should have got the time for the Cincinnati Bengals. Guys, is Jamar Chase's time in Cincinnati done? Guys, I said this last season when they dangled that carrot just a little bit in front of his face. I knew right then and there his time in Cincinnati was done. As Jamar Chase is a great talent. Jamar Chase is a top 3, if not top 2, if not one of the best receivers in the NFL. Matter of fact, if I'm putting top 5 in my head, I'm putting Jamar Chase at number 1 and then JJ number 2, if we want to be blatantly honest about it, right? Guys, Cincinnati is cheap. Cincinnati just recently built an indoor practice facility for their team a couple years ago. They make the players walk across the street to practice every day. Of course, it's cool or whatever, but they're cheap. Cincinnati Bengals want to win, but at a cheap cost. They want to exercise their money, and they don't want to pay their players. I'm really surprised that Joe Burrow got paid. But that was the beginning of the end. Guys, Jamar Chase is finished in Cincinnati. After the 2025 season, actually, even if he plays the 2020-25 season, he could say, I want a contract now, or I'm not going to play, do the whole T.O. holdout thing, and demand a trade or the Antonio Brown type of situation. There's going to be some players out there for him. There are going to be people that are be willing to pay $110, $120, $130 million for Jamar Chase for the next 4 or 5 years. That's just the way it is. Jamar Chase is done in Cincinnati. Cincinnati should have kept Tyler Boyd last season. They got T. Higgins still. They better re-sign him or they're going to lose him too. Guys, the Cincinnati Bengals Super Bowl window is absolutely closed now because they're going to lose Higgins. They're probably going to lose Chase, and Joe Burrow's all they got. If Joe Burrow is the real, true MVP, we'll see what they can do next season. But guys, I think Jamar Chase is done in Cincinnati. What do you guys think? Is he done in Cincinnati? Pepe's in the chat. What's up, Pepe? He says, Jerry Jones continues to prove it that Jimmy Johnson was all time. I agree with that, by the way. James says, well, if my Lions get Myles Garrett, they are Super Bowl favorites next season. We will see. Not my Lions, by the way. I meant his Myles Garrett. My bad. Casey Morgan says Chase is just jealous of JJ. Is it jealousy or knowing your worth, right? So me, for example, like I know my worth. I have turned down opportunities because they're like, oh, we'll give you $100 here, or $100 there, or 90,000 here. Like I know what I'm worth, right? I worked my ass off to get to this point. I know what I'm worth. Just pay me, right? The problem with this is the Cincinnati Bengals asked what he wanted. And he said, I wanted 1 cent more than Justin Jefferson. That is all he wanted, was 1 cent more. $110 million and 1 cent. Bengals were like, no. How about this? He's like, this is what I want. No. Shut it down. James Frank says Jamar is the number 2 receiver in the league. You can go 1 or 2, right? But either way, he's a top 2 receiver in the league. CeeDee Lamb, the second paid highest paid receiver in the league, $100 million. JJ, the number 1 highest paid receiver in the league, $110 million. You know where the market's at. 4 years, $110 million. You know where the market's at. Pay him. It's simple as that. Pepe is saying Jamar is going to be over $30 million per year. The Bengals are going to pay him, and they will regret it until the next rebuild. Listen, if the Bengals pay Jamar Chase the $35 million a season, whatever it breaks down to be, they are in a world of hurt. To me, they don't seem like a smart enough front office to learn how to kick the can down the road, right? When the Kansas City Chiefs signed that, 10-year, $500 million contract for Patrick Mahomes, 6 years ago now, right? Seems forever ago. But people are like, oh my God, they're going to be so broke. No, they know how to kick the can down the road. Everything's back end loaded. They know how to work the money. Signing bonuses, this, and this. And I'm not for sure if the Bengals know how to do that. I don't know. Josh said Chase is better than Jefferson. I agree with that. Darcy says, did the cat lick you off your beard? No, my kids did. James Frank says, where do you think Myles will end up? Commanders. John says, Lions haters, brother. I'm not a Lions hater. I'm just Lions realist. Dallas Cowboys will win the Super Bowl before the Detroit Lions. Jonas says, I hope not. Jonas, aren't you a Steelers fan? You would hope they want Jamar Chase out of there, right? Alpha Rob says, if they pay Jace, their defense is going to be worse because they can't pay no one. And what's his name? Hendrickson is up for a contract next year. And he's already said that he wants out. So it's kind of weird, right? Pepe says the Bengals know tees belongs to golf courses. That's why Jamar Chase is getting paid. Listen, T. Higgins is a good guy. T. Higgins is the reason why Boyd and Jamar Chase had their success the previous couple seasons, right? T. Higgins is that underlying X factor type of guy, right? When D-Hop went to the Kansas City Chiefs, Travis Kelce all of a sudden exploded because D-Hop was that underwritten guy. So far this postseason, he has 1 catch for 3 yards, right? But guess what? He's getting everybody else open because they still got to worry about D-Hop. That's who T. Higgins is. John says no, he will stay in Cincinnati. They will give him that bag. John, as I want to agree with you, I want to give the Cincinnati Bengals ownership front office credit, maybe a little bit, but I'm not for sure they will. Why would you dangle the carrot in front of him this offseason and then not pay him? All you did was you up the price, right? Just like when the Dallas Cowboys did not pay Dak Prescott at the beginning of the season, they went to week 14 or whatever the hell it was. That value went up and up, the price went up and up and up. Because then, boom, 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 got paid. Dude is a beast. I agree. Jamar Chase is a beast. And it's kind of like the what hand washes what hand, right? because we talked about Joe Burrow being the real MVP of the league, right? We talked about Joe Burrow being the man, the myth, the legend. Should be the NFL MVP. But at the same price, or at the same time, where would Joe Burrow be without Jamar Chase? 1,700 yards this season. What was it? 16 touchdowns. That is a lot. That's damn near 2/3 of Joe Burrow's yardage this season. Darcy says, "Go Eagles." Imagine that. Casey says, "If they pay Chase and Burrow doesn't rework his contract, they are screwed." How much is winning? And so what it comes down to, Casey, Pepe, John, Laura, the rest of the people in the chat, Darcy, what it comes down to is what is more important to the Cincinnati Bengals or to those select few guys. Is it making those bills, y'all, being the highest paid quarterback, being the highest paid this, and this, or is it actually winning championships? This offseason is going to tell everything that I need to know about the Cincinnati Bengals. Is it all about winning, or is it all about championships? Pepe says, "Nah, dog, T is overrated." We will see. When T. Higgins goes to a team like the Steelers or a team like the Commanders or maybe the Ravens this offseason, we'll see how overrated he actually is. Darcy says, "Question, is the days of the pocket passers over? Off-script quarterbacks are the future." No, pocket quarterbacks will always be there. Off-scripts are all great and dandy, but pocket is where it's at. Look at the college game. Pepe says, "I bet the Raiders will be dumb enough to give T. Higgins the bag." Pepe, once the Raiders pay for Devontae Adams to come back and Dak Prescott trade, they're going to be pretty tapped out. Juna says, "Cincinnati is my favorite AFC team." Okay. I feel you, man. I feel you. Speaking of those